today explain the results of the second edition of the Grid Parity Monitor for commercial consumers, and we will focus on the results in Latin American countries. First of all, a brief description on our company, Criara. We have merged recently with Eclarion, the party responsible of this Grid Parity Monitor edition. And now we have formed Criara Energy Experts to consolidate our leadership in sustainable energy services. So, to have a brief introduction on the metrics we use to assess grid parity proximity, it is very relevant to take into consideration that we are assessing the levelized cost of electricity that includes the cost of a PV system for self-consumption throughout the whole lifetime of the system in comparison to the electricity price that we pay from the grid. So whenever the grid electricity price is more expensive than the cost of 1 kilowatt hour that we generate with our PV system for self-consumption, then it is more attractive for the prosumer to self-consume PV electricity than to buy electricity from the grid. However, as a caveat, you should know that we have made a simplification. That is, we assume that 100% of the electricity generated by the PV system is being self-consumed immediately. This would be equated to the situation of a prosumer located in a country that has a net metering or an equivalent mechanism that enables the prosumer to value the excess electricity that he or she cannot consume immediately. However, if we are analyzing the case of a country that does not have any net metering regulation or net billing regulation, and all excess electricity is virtually lost, then this analysis should be modified in order to include this lack of regulatory support. Because mainly, although a lot of commercial consumers can attain high self-consumption ratios, not all commercial consumers can attain 100% self-consumption ratio. Our Grid Parity Monitor series analyzed grid parity proximity in several markets, and this issue includes the countries that you can see in the red circles, that is Spain, France, Germany, Italy, Brazil, Chile, and Mexico. You can access Leonardo Energy website and see the results for all these countries. Today we will only explain some of the countries. And in previous issues, we have also analyzed other cities and even other countries, such as the United Kingdom or Australia. One of the assumptions that we make for this particular exercise is that the PV system for self-consumption is of 30 kilowatts, and we are comparing the cost of a kilowatt hour generated by the system with the variable commercial utility rates present in a given market. We also assume 70% debt ratio with the characteristics of the financing that are available in each of the countries. All of these assumptions and parameters are included in our document uploaded in the web page. And also please note that the EPC prices, the system prices, which is a parameter that is very important for LCOE, are based on real market data that we gather from interviews to local installers. We also account for taxes, for corporate taxes, that are also relevant in the LCOE estimations. And we only account for the energy charge, that is the variable cost of the electricity from the grid. We don't include any savings that can be attained from the capacity charge. The Grid Parity Monitor is sponsored by renowned international companies, such as Gesternova, Viva, San Edison, Meteo Control, and Indetin. We have several partner associations that collaborate with us, such as AFERA, ANES, UNED, BSW, the French-German Office for Renewable Energies, and Enetplan. And as always, we are supported by the European Copper Institute. So, getting a little bit deeper into the LCOE metric, what the parameter accounts for is for the capital investment in the initial year, that is illustrated here by the red bar, and the operating expenses of the PV system throughout the life of the system. Here in year 15 we have included the inverter replacement. And also, given that the commercial consumers that we are basing our analysis on, given that they are companies, we also account for the tax shield, the depreciation tax shield, and the cost after tax cost flows. In order to evaluate the cost of a kilowatt hour of PV generated electricity with the cost of the electricity from the grid, we have to express our values in a metric that is comparable. In this sense, the LCOE is expressed in terms of euros per kilowatt hour, and the electricity from the grid is also expressed in this unit. Another caveat of the analysis is that although we analyze LCOE in a given point in time, that is, for instance, the LCOE of a system installed in 2012, in reality, this LCOE remains fixed as soon as the PV system is built. This is because of the definition of LCOE. However, the prices from the electricity we buy from the utility are likely to increase in the future. Therefore, you should take into consideration this estimation of the evolution of the grid electricity price when you make a comparison between the competitiveness of a PV system and the competitiveness of alternative sources. In our analysis, we only compare the LCOE with the current grid electricity price. So the results show that there are several countries that are well positioned for market creation. Here from Latin America we have Mexico because the regulatory support, the net metering support, is effective in developing the market. And from Europe we have Italy and Germany that have a net billing or feed-in tariff mechanism. And the y-axis is grid parity proximity that reflects the economic assessment of that consumption. And in this sense, we see that in this quadrant, Mexico, Italy, and Germany have both components with parity proximity and a good regulatory support. But there are other countries, for instance, such as Spain, that we will explain right now, that although they have reached grid parity, the regulatory support is not efficient in fostering self-consumption. So going on the results of particular countries, we see that in Brazil, the standard tariff is not high enough in order to enable grid parity. We see that the cost of a PV system is still very high in comparison to the price, the variable price that commercial consumers pay to the utility. One of the reasons of this situation is that Brazil is still a relatively immature country, so EPC prices are relatively high in comparison to other countries. Moreover, there are import tariffs and other taxes that generate that the cost of a kilowatt hour from PV electricity is higher than the standard tariff. Regarding the regulatory support, we see that in Brazil, a net metering mechanism was introduced in 2013. This metering regulation is well defined. It's in paper, it's efficient in order to foster the market. However, in reality, market creation is still not significant. This could be because the economics are not very positive. And another reason is that there is another barrier, that's the disinformation of consumers that are not completely informed on the options they have, on the incentives, etc. In Chile, the situation is a little bit more positive. The standard tariff is still below the cost of PV, but the difference is not so significant. We could expect that in the medium term, grid parity is reached in Chile. This analysis was performed in Copiapó, where high irradiation levels can be found. And on the other hand, there is a net billing regulation that enables the consumer to obtain a monetary credit for each kilowatt hour that he injects in the grid. In Mexico, what we see is that those consumers that are under Tarifa 2, that's the tariff for consumers with installed capacity or capacity demand below 25 kilowatts, are already in full grid parity. However, other commercial segments like Tarifa 3 or Tarifa OM that have superior capacity charge, capacity demand, then in these segments, grid parity is still relatively far away. Moreover, as you might know, Mexico is undergoing an energy reform, and it's not yet completely developed, and the renewable energies law has not yet been introduced. So some conditions are not yet known.